Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning back in. My name is Blake. Today I'm going to be talking about things that China does better. Right now I think I am at 5 things China does better. I'm trying to keep this list short and concise so that I don't bore you with all the details. Please let me know what you agree with and what you don't agree with. I would love to see what your opinions are if you've ever been to China, if you're coming to China. I always wondered, like, when people are like, oh man, that country's better, no, this is better. But then when you actually live in both, you're kind of like, meh, some things here are better and some things there are better, but neither are that great. Or, I mean, neither are that, like, spectacular, you know, once you start living there. I did make another video last week about things that America does better, and now that I'm back in China, I figured I would do one about what China does better. Before I begin, I would just like to say that this is my opinion. I didn't really research this. This is just like what I was learning in school, what I see in my day-to-day life, and just kind of how it's affected me and what I've seen that I thought was interesting. So take this all with a little grain of salt. So let's begin. So the first thing is, I think that China does payment better. And what I mean by that is that in America you have Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Amex, you have so much, and then when you go to buy something, you have to when you go to buy something online, you have to take your credit card with you everywhere, or you have to save the details, you have to print it in, text it. What am I saying? You have to type it in the whole time, or you can take a picture of it, but you still have to verify the details. And it's just a little annoying. But in China, they have WeChat or they have Alipay, and it's so convenient. Everywhere literally takes Alipay or WeChat. I've never been to a place that doesn't take one of those yet. Well, actually, I did go to a store that said no, but then the next week they started taking it. I just didn't understand. But I'll try to show you without showing my balance. So this is mine. I don't know if you can see it. And up here you can just go to WeChat Pay, and then you can go to money and they just scan you right there. And you don't have to worry about someone taking your QR code because it's always changing. And then you can hook it up to your credit card or whatever debit card you have, and people just scan it and you pay. And you also can, I need to be looking up here. Oh yeah, but you can also, I don't know if you can see, but you can go to utilities, which you can like put more money in your utilities. You can pay that. You can pay your water, your electric, your gas. Then down here you can get hotels, you can get Ubers or DDs as they're called in China. You can get movie tickets, rail and flight tickets, sales. So there's a lot of things you can just do on here, and Alipay is pretty much the same thing, except Alipay does have these stores called Hema, and we basically call them hippo stores, and they are just stores solely for Alipay, and it's like Amazon grocery shopping, but for Alipay. But the second thing I think they do better is I think they do public transportation. Most places outside of the US that are developed do public transportation so much better, and I wish the US would just step up with it and put more public transportation in their system. But we're so dependent on cars, and it really sucks. Like here it's so nice, you can travel the country just on trains, and if you don't even have to get flights, but they're both about the same price, which is so nice, you know. You can take the subway to the train station, take the train to another city, and then get on a plane and go to somewhere else, you know. It's just so fast and quick, and you don't have to worry about gas, insurance, hitting somebody. You just gotta make sure you show up at the right time and hope there's no glitches in the public transportation, you know. And it's also really convenient, especially in Shanghai. The subway is always clean, it's very convenient, and it's always on time. The one thing I don't like is that there's so many stops. Like, it stops literally like every 2 blocks, and it's really annoying. But when you need it, you're like, thank God there's a stop there, because I did not want to have to walk. So there's double-edged sword for me. The next thing I think that they do better is construction. There's kind of a reason why they do construction better, but they do it so much faster. Like, they can construct these things like really fast. Just think about Shanghai. I don't know if you know, but Shanghai was constructed in about like 20-25 years, and it's still being constructed right now. You know, cities are ever evolving, but to get to the point that they did now took them about 20-25 years. And the same with Dubai. So they kind of have the same structure, but just thinking about how fast that is, that's mind-blowing. I'm 20. Like, by the time I got here and applied to come here, they had already built the city, which is mind-blowing. There's a lot of documentaries about them building Shanghai, so I definitely recommend. But I think that I've not researched too much of this, but talking to people, the classes I've been in with the professors, and just looking around, it seems as though when there's a one-party system, as there is in China, you can just do things a lot faster, you know? There's a lot of walls that they don't have, that the US kind of has. Like, you have city government, you have, then you have the county, then you have state, then you have federal, and you have to make sure you're following all their rules, and sometimes the state or the local city has different rules, and then you have to be in conjunction with contractors and then agencies to make sure you're not messing with the environment. Like, there's just so much you have to do, and I'm sure they have some stuff like that in China, but it does not seem like it's on the scale it is in the US, and so it just allows them to construct so much faster, which is really mind-blowing. And yeah, it's just cool, I guess. And you can actually see the construction in real time when you're here. There's so many cranes, but also if you come here and you stay here for a month or two and then you leave and come back in 6 months, there's gonna be some things where you're gonna be like, oh wow, that's changed because they put something new, a new building, they destroyed something, you know? It's very quick. The fourth thing I think that China does better is I think they do security, and I mean, everyone can probably guess why they do security better, but seeing it in person is definitely different than just hearing about it or reading about it. So when you're in person, it doesn't feel like it's as heavily guarded or whatever you want to call it as it seems from the outside. But you can tell there are so many cameras. There's not that many police, but it makes up for it with cameras. In America, there's so many police. In my city, you can't go around the block without seeing a policeman or two, and you don't have that many cameras. But here it's the opposite. You have so many cameras and not a lot of policemen. And the policemen you do see are usually on their phones just chilling, or they're directing traffic, and they don't even have guns. I only have seen them have batons, and someone said they had mace, but I don't know, I haven't seen that yet. And the citizens can't have guns either. Pretty sure they can't. So yeah, that just makes it a lot safer. And obviously, since China is homogenous, it's a little safer already right then. You know, it's a lot easier to make sure everything's secure when everyone looks the same and acts the same. Very broadly, that was a very broad stroke of me saying everyone looks and acts the same. But it's the same thing in Japan. Japan's very safe because it's 98% Japanese. So yeah. The next thing I think they do better is I think that they do restaurants. In my last video, I talked about how America does restaurants a little bit better than China, in that they allow the customer to, not allow the customer, but they believe the customer more, and the customer has more power. In China, it's kind of the opposite. The servers aren't really buggy, and the servers let you do what you're there for. What? That made no sense. The servers let you do what you came for. You know, they let you eat, they let you lounge about and talk. I was a server in America, so I know all about it. You are pressured to go to the table and talk their heads off and be funny, and they really want you to be a little show, and that's how you get your tips, and that's how you get your money, is by showing off a little bit. And I don't really like that. It kind of puts awkward pressure on the workers, and I just don't enjoy it from the customer's point of view. When I go out to eat, I would rather have just a civil conversation with someone in front of me, because I invited them out to eat for a reason. You know, I didn't want to see a show, or I would go to Las Vegas or something. Maybe that sounds really bitchy of me. Maybe that sounds really rude of me to say, but that's just how I like it. And so I enjoy this a little more. When you're ready to order, you just say, hey, I'm ready to order. And then when you want your ticket, I want my ticket, you know. It's a little nicer. I like it. And it doesn't make you feel as rushed, and it doesn't make you feel as, oh my gosh, I have to know what I want before they come back, because they're going to come back in 30 seconds and they're going to ask me, and then if I don't know, they're going to ask, do you need any help? I can give you my favorite things. It's just weird, you know. So I like this better. Those are my 5 things I think China does better. Please let me know what you agree with and what you don't agree with. I would love to see what your opinions are if you've ever been to China, if you're coming to China, if you want me to talk more about things, you know, if you want me to do more vlogs or more videos like this. So just comment down below and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.